Hello everyone and welcome back to another Minecraft update video. It is Snapshot 18w43a, the first of the Java edition of the game for Minecraft 1.14. And heads up, little bit of a warning, if you see any herky-jerkiness in this video, it is because of the snapshot. Yeah, the performance in this one isn't so great. Now this is a big update, there is a lot to cover, and the first thing I want to touch on are the changes to textures that you see in front of us. If you are unaware, Mojang for some time have intended to overhaul all of the textures in the game, give it a fresh new feel, and this is the first time that these textures are being incorporated into the game, which means that they're going to be released with Minecraft 1.14. Now if you've been watching videos on my channel, what you would have seen are these textures or things that look similar to them already in my videos, and that's because Mojang had released some resource packs for us to try out ourselves and give feedback to them to change these textures. So the blocks that I picked out here, the ones with notable changes between the last time we got to play around with these textures and them appearing for the first time in 1.14. But if I just open this up right here, you will see all sorts of new textures. For example, the sponge, which I don't believe has changed since they last shared these with us, and this snapshot right here. So the game in general looks really different. Look at some of these items as well. If you haven't seen any of this before, this will be quite the system shock to you. Now if new textures weren't exciting enough, your eyes do not deceive you. You are looking at new types of slabs and stairs. The building options for this game just went through the roof, and let's use the search feature to see all of the slabs at the same time. There they all are, and then let's look for all of the stairs together. Wonderful. We now have so many more building options. That is a really nice thing to see. However, I have spotted a little bit of a quirk. We have quartz stairs and smooth quartz stairs, and we have the same thing for sandstone. Now when we place down the sandstone stairs and the smooth ones, you can see the difference. It's really clear, the cracks are gone. When I do this with the quartz, I need you to tell me what the difference is, because personally I can't see a difference between those two textures. So we have a new stair type for the same old stair type. It doesn't make any sense to me. As well as slabs and stairs, there are also new walls. We got bricks, we got prismarine, red sandstone. You don't need me to read these out to you. That is really exciting, a whole bunch of new wall blocks. There is one exception, which is that the nether brick wall also has a fence equivalent, which is interesting that they decided to keep that. There are also no new fences added, but I'm excited just by these walls alone. And another new addition of blocks is signs. As you can see in front of me, we now have a sign for each type of wood, which is fantastic. And if you pay closer attention, the texture of the wood is up top and the texture of the log is down the front there. Now I'm not sure that these textures are actually the same as the ones that we saw earlier over there, so that may be subject to change, but something else I'd really like to see them change here is this white text. It's just too jarring and contrasting, and you can see it from really far away and it kind of pops out. I think what these signs actually need is like a complementary colour that's very visible against the background but doesn't stick out too much like this. Anyway, something else you would have noticed here are the inclusion of new flowers. We're going to do some research in a moment and try and find out where these flowers naturally generate in the world. We have the cornflower, the wither rose, and the lily of the valley. And I'm actually going to stand over this wither rose, and I am now getting the wither effect, and it seems permanently just from being in contact with that rose, which is something you might have seen on modded Minecraft. I'm cool with it being on vanilla, and of course if I were in survival, that would have done some damage to me. Now these new flowers are to help with what's known as flattening of dyes, which is where all of the dye colours can have a dye that is their own thing. So currently we use ink sacs for black, we use lapis for blue, and bone meal for whites, and guess what these flowers do? They make new types of dye. We got white dye, unsurprisingly black dye, and you guessed it, blue dye. There is also brown dye, which comes from the cocoa beans, and I've been thinking, bone meal, we can use it to grow crops and make bone blocks. We got lapis blocks, book and quill. Is there something that you can use cocoa to craft that I can't remember? Because check this out, you can no longer use these to dye other blocks. However, what you can do is turn that stuff directly into the dye that it has replaced it with. So the dyes have been flattened, and there is also this new recipe as well for carpets. You can give them colour like that. And some more crafting quirks. You may be wondering, how do you get the smooth stone slabs? Now that there are stone slabs, good question. Well, you get the smooth stone, this one right here, by smelting regular stone in a furnace. And then, of course, you can use that to make the slabs. And once again, I want to point it out, this is quartz and this is smooth quartz. I mean, tell me what the difference is, but how do you get the smooth quartz? Well, you smelt quartz into smooth quartz. The same goes for sandstone into smooth sandstone, and then again for the red variety. When it comes to the signs, they are as you might expect. You can't use any type of wood now, you have to use the one specific for the colour of sign that you want. There is also a new recipe for the nether brick fence as well, which is as follows. So my friends, I think you know what we're going to be checking out next. It is the bamboo and the panda. We are here in a jungle biome, and there is now a bamboo forest in the middle of it. Now, if you played Minecraft for many years, you might be worried about them adding a new biome and this creating biome borders in your world. The game has been updated so much they can now add in new biomes, and it essentially nests itself inside of the jungle biome. So when updating between worlds, you shouldn't have any nasty new boundary borders just because there are now bamboo forests, and these things are kind of crazy looking. There is pods on the ground, there's lots of bamboo, and they nestle themselves into the middle of the jungle and really kind of break up the canopy of it, which I like a lot. I also want to apologize for the stuttering in this video. I've tried many things, restarting the computer, messing around with settings. I just can't get this herky-jerkiness to go away. So let's learn about the bamboo. When we place down some bamboo on the ground, we get like a little bamboo sapling, and then we can right click on it and we can extend this up like so and grow it upwards. We can also use bone meal on this stuff, and you can see sometimes the base gets a little bit thicker. Then it gets bushy up the top here, and it can grow as much as 12 to 16 blocks tall, I believe, and the bone meal is no longer working on this thing, so it has reached its maximum height. And I can actually put more of these bamboo on top of it myself if I want to. Now this block has an interesting hitbox because on each block that you place it down, it's in a slightly different position, which seems to be randomized, which is very cool. And this stuff will grow naturally as well. As you saw right there, you don't need to use bone meal on it. And when you break one of the blocks at the bottom, all of the ones up above will fall down. You can also use a sword to break it instantly. So we'll check it out again in a moment in survival mode. Now, this bamboo can be crafted into a single stick. You can also use 4 bamboo to smelt a single item. So this is actually a fuel source. And over here you can see we've got a bamboo in a flower pot. That's something that you can do. And then we've got this little redstone contraption that you might be curious about. Well, this stuff is basically really easy to farm. In fact, you wouldn't even need this bit at the bottom because that could grow upwards. This would detect it and the piston would break it. So with some bone meal you can just get a load of this stuff really quickly. So it could even be like a fuel source that you can farm. However, as you saw, it takes just 4 of those to smelt a single item. And in survival mode, very slow to break with a pick, a little bit faster with the axe. Let's compare it to punching it. That feels about the same speed as the pick, and then apparently the sword is going to be instant. Yeah, this is the thing. I can picture myself charging through one of these places, swiping at all the bamboo and destroying my frames as all the items fall down from the sky. The next thing we're going to check out is the panda, and it is said to spawn inside the bamboo forest and the bamboo forest hills, which I've actually stumbled across right here. I've been searching and searching for pandas, and I have had no luck finding them in their natural habitat, and I've been using this command right here. So what it does is it gives the panda a glowing effect, but it never finds any, no matter how far I search for them. So we're going to check them out in a different environment that hopefully won't be as laggy as this one. And very quickly, I'd like to interrupt this video with a rather peculiar moment, just to say if you're enjoying it, consider subscribing if you're not already. I do regularly cover these snapshots, Minecraft updates and Minecraft news on this and my second channel. So yeah, subscribe if you want to. Let's crack on with the video. Well, this is certainly an improvement, although I'm not sure the pandas like this type of environment. And while I'm talking here, pay attention to their behavior. Sometimes they sit up and eat, they roll around, and occasionally they do this group jump thing together, which we're probably not going to capture on camera, but it is peculiar anyway. These pandas are very fond of bamboo. As you can see, they want to head towards it, and if I throw it on the ground, they will pick it up and they will start to eat it. And then we can also right click the pandas with the bamboo to breed them as well. Let's go and actually do that. That one was running away. And then they will do their thing and breed. You can also give them cake as well. They're really fond of cake, although you can't right click on them. You just chuck it at them and they will sit up and eat the cake. There we go. That panda's enjoying some cake right there. Wonderful. Now, the pandas do 3 hearts of damage when they attack a player. They also have 10 hearts of health themselves. They have no knockback when they attack, and they have no knockback resistant, and they also have a movement speed of 0.15. Which, in relation to the player, should be about 50% faster, as the player has a movement speed of 0.1, and again, they have a movement speed of 0.15. Now, how did I find out all of this information, and how did I find out the secrets behind the inheritance system? Well, maybe not all of the secrets. You can use this command right here. We can get the entity's data, and this is all the MBT stuff behind the scenes that tells the panda what exactly it is. So whatever one I selected there had a hidden gene of brown, as you can see right here, and a main gene of normal. Now, I tested loads and loads of pandas, and I found that there were these genes. We have worried, normal, aggressive, playful, weak, lazy, and brown, which is 7 in total. Possibly I missed one, but something interesting happens. You can use the summon command to summon in a panda that has the traits that you desire. So hidden gene brown, main gene brown. I noticed when they were both the same, this is when a panda has a unique skin. So if I zoom back here, they might not all look unique, but pay attention to the faces. This one has some angry eyebrows. The facial expression right here, that's a bit of a sad face. This one, not quite so much, and a smiley face over here. So let's go through those traits again. We have the brown one over here for the brown panda. Then we have lazy. So this is what a lazy panda looks like. Then we have the weak panda with the snot dripping out of its nose. We have the worried panda. The normal one is the one that looks a little bit grumpy in my opinion. And this one right here is the aggressive panda. Now in Bedrock mode, or Bedrock edition of the game, there was a panda with red eyes which I have not seen at all. So possibly that's what the red-eyed one was on the Bedrock edition of the game. And the one with its face, its tongue sticking out is of course the playful panda. This panda has been lying on its back for ages now. Oh, the animations of the pandas are wonderful, and I was trying to do some experiments with breeding the pandas to see how the genes got passed down to the baby, but they are unwilling to breed, and I've got a snapshot video here to record, so we're going to wrap up our look at the pandas right there. Welcome to the End Dimension, another place that doesn't seem to have any lag issues, and we're over here to check out a part of this update called Community Suggestions. So these are things specifically suggested by the Minecraft community that Mojang decided to implement. The first one that we see here is actually the leaf blocks decaying. I've just filled in this space once again, and not only do they drop saplings and apples, you'll see that sticks are dropping onto the ground as well. So these are essentially twigs, and this may have some sort of use because obviously these can be used as fuel. It also says that dead bush is no longer going to be a fuel source, but kind of ironically I put this in here and it does work, so I'm not sure if that's a bug or not, but supposedly that's a suggestion they included. Also, the rabbit stew and the beetroot soup have been changed to shapeless crafting recipes. Exciting news, I know, and this next one though is genuinely really exciting. This is probably the best of them, well, maybe second best. You can now shoot the grown chorus plant all the way up there, and when you shoot it with a bow or a crossbow with an arrow, it breaks and falls down onto the ground. Let's see what happens when you shoot one of these ones though. Oh, that one breaks as well. Now there's going to be some really cool uses for this, I'm sure. Maybe some sort of archery mini game. And this next community suggestion, definitely my favourite, something that's clearly very powerful. I'm going to put a sheep in front of this dispenser. Inside of the dispenser is going to go some shears. We're going to power the dispenser, and the sheep has been sheared automatically for us. That is wonderful, but I have some more questions. One of those is, what if the sheep has already been sheared? Well, good news it actually holds onto the shears. It doesn't spit them out. So what if there's nothing at all in front of the dispenser? It still holds onto them. And this is really good news for automation, because one of the things you'll want to do is find a way to pick up the items after they're sheared and move the sheep around so they can move to where the grass has regrown and they can regrow their wool. So this is going to lead to some very interesting automated sheep farm designs. Next up, we're going to check out the glorious crossbow. And before I go through all the things about it, I want to show you this. You can put a firework into your offhand, and then you can load this thing up with that firework rocket. Let's look into the sky where it goes. That's gone quite the distance and made a beautiful explosion. So what's the deal with the crossbow? It does slightly more damage than the regular bow, but it has less durability. The regular bow has 384 and the crossbow has 326, which doesn't seem like a big difference in my opinion, especially with enchantments like Unbreaking. But anyway, it will shoot all types of arrow just like the regular bow does. So if I put this firstmost in my inventory and shoot the crossbow, not only does it have a bunch of cool shooting animations, bam, you'll see that it can shoot all the different types of arrow as well. It also comes with its own advancements, which sound really challenging. So the first one is just to shoot the crossbow, and then there are 3 others. This first one is 2 birds, 1 arrow. Kill 2 phantoms with a piercing arrow. Now a piercing arrow is one that goes through multiple entities, so you have to get 2 phantoms with 1 shot. And up here it says kill 5 unique mobs with 1 crossbow shot. That is a seriously tough challenge unless you want to get a bunch of mobs in minecarts and line them up. So that's a probable way you're going to be able to get that one. And then down here it says give a pillager a taste of their own medicine, which is probably the easier of the 3. So what about these enchantments? There are 3 new enchantments specifically for the crossbow. Let's go and open up our ender chest and we can look at them. There are 3 levels of quick charge, which unsurprisingly increases the charge speed by 0.25 of a second for each level that you have. Then we have piercing, which is for shooting through entities, and we have multi-shot, which splits your shot into 3 different arrows. These 2 are not compatible with one another, but both of them are compatible with quick charge, and they're compatible with unbreaking and mending, and infinity doesn't work with the crossbow. That is still exclusive for the bow. So I got a regular crossbow. Here is the speed. It's quite a while to charge it up, and then we have quick charge. I'm not going to do all 3 of the levels. Here's number 3. As you can see, it's very quick to charge up. Now this is compatible with either piercing or multi-shot. Let's check out multi-shot first of all. As you'll see, it'll split the shot up into 3, and with that it can hit, you know, multiple entities at once, as there are 3 different arrow shots. Then we have piercing, and I'm going to try and get a bunch of these in a row, because what it will do is shoot through the entities. So let's start off with the 4th level, and that kind of went through a few of them at once. It's sort of hard to see. There you go, we hit 3 of them together. And so the way this works is each level allows you to go through 1 extra entity. So that will hit 2 mobs, this will hit 3, 4, and the top level will be able to shoot through the mob and hit 5. And I believe it passes equal damage to all of the entities that it goes through. Although I don't know the exacts, that's just what it seems to be. And before we head on from this lag-free end dimension to check out the villagers and the pillagers, there is the book and quill. This has finally been given an overhaul. We can now rejoice, for we can edit text. We knew that, but I can click with the mouse and go back here. I can highlight a letter and edit it at any point. I can also use all of these tools, you know, copy and paste over and over again. Absolutely amazing. That's been needed for a very long time. Also, the amount of pages a book can store has been increased to 100. Fun fact, I had no idea there was a limit to this before. And there it is. Yep, it's got a page limit of 100. And now for the most exciting part of this update, the Illager Beast and the Pillager. However, this is a very bare bones introduction. There are actually no sieges at the moment, I believe, so I was going to set the time tonight and let one of those play out. I'm going to just spawn in a couple of these. We're going to fly around and see what they get up to here while we talk about them as well. So first of all, we got the Illager Beast, this big thing over here. It doesn't actually have a proper name yet. This is just a work in progress name, and Mojang are looking for suggestions from the community to pick a name from this thing right here. Now, it has 50 hearts of health. There it is, attacking a villager. It does 6 hearts of attack per damage. It's also got no armor. It has a movement speed of 0.3 compared to the player's 0.1. And it has a knockback of 1.5 when it attacks, as you saw a moment ago, because there was a villager right next to it, and it sent it flying. It has a knockback resistance of 0.5 itself. And let's just get in there and have a quick close look at it. Man, look at that villager face with the big, ugly nose. This thing is absolutely crazy. And let's pay attention to its attack. Do you see how it bobs its head out in front when it attacks? That is not a villager. Let's just look at it one more time. There you go. Crazy stuff. The Pillager yields a crossbow and at the moment has no proper behaviours. It says in the notes they're going to add some more behaviours for this real soon. Notice how it gets aggressive and targets me even though I'm in creative mode. I find that amusing. Anyway, this guy has 12 hearts of health. It has no knockback resistance. It doesn't do any knockback. It has a movement speed of 0.34 according to the MBT data. And it does 2.5 hearts of damage with each attack. Obviously, this big guy is going to come after me if I go into survival as well. We know the Pillager don't like me. I've also noticed that they don't go after friendly mobs that are in the area, so they're not like the Wither. They'll leave these things alone, but they definitely don't like those villagers. The whole time I've been recording this video, I've really been looking forward to showing you the loom. Not only does this block have a really interesting looking GUI, we'll get to that in just a second, its textures are really good as well, and it's kind of cheap to craft. Its underside texture, though, is a little bit flat. But that could be a good building block as well as for dyeing banners, which is what it's for. So if I go in here and just throw that down, you'll see we can no longer craft banners and do the dyeing thing. With the old system, it's now got its own block. And the way that you craft that block is with 2 planks and 2 string, which is quite cheap, I think, to get access to such a cool texture. This is obviously going to help when doing building, but the main purpose is for dyeing banners. So the way it works now is that you put your banner into that slot and you put a dye into this slot, and then it gives you all of the options. And best of all, it only costs 1 dye to do each pattern, right? They haven't added any new patterns, and you can only use 6 layers as normal, so all of that's changed the same. You get a preview over here, and then you can click on the item and put it back in and do another one or change the dye. It's all pretty fantastic. Now, when it comes to those special patterns, you won't need to consume a golden apple or a wither skull, whatever it was you used for them. I think it was a creeper skull, actually. Now what you can do is simply just create one of these, and then you can use it over and over again. So if I do that, notice how I keep this thing right here. I can keep applying it with different colors. We only use 1 dye. It's all really great stuff, but how do you make one of these? Well, you take the original thing, whatever it was, like a creeper head or a golden apple, and you just put it in the crafting bench with a piece of paper, and there you go. You get your banner pattern, which is awesome. Now, does something happen when I open this GUI? Pay close attention. Does it feel like the screen got brighter? If it does, I've realized why. It's a bit of a mind trick, because when you open a GUI, usually you expect the screen to get darker, and that hasn't been added for this. So every time I've opened it, it feels like the screen has suddenly got brighter. I don't know if you experienced that as well, but let me know with a comment down below if you do. By the way, this guy was making some fantastic new grunts. Yarr! Yarr! Whoa, this guy makes some growls as well. I didn't really pay too much attention to that earlier. Next up, we have the Suspicious Stew, a new food item that has been added to the game, and this allows you to hide a potion effect inside the stew itself. Now, you can find it on shipwrecks like this one inside of the chest. Unfortunately, I was unlucky, but I will show you how exactly you make these. Let's go and put a bowl into this crafting window right here. We put in a red mushroom, we put in a brown mushroom, and then we put in any one of these small flowers, and you'll see right here that it creates a suspicious stew. Now, each one of these flowers actually has a potion effect attached to it, which the person who consumes the food will then get. And as you can see, you can't put more than one of these in together. I also want to share a quick tip. When you're searching, you can use the hashtags that appear in the tooltips. So these are all the things that have hashtags. For example, we can type in logs and look at all the log types, or for these ones, I think it was small flowers, yeah. And now these are all the ones that you can use in the Suspicious Stew. So I've made one with the cornflower, and this should give us jump boosts. Let's go ahead and eat it. And we got a new icon for jump boost in the top right as well. I quite like that. So when it came to figuring out the crafting recipe for this, the JSON files sneakily hide away the secret of the Suspicious Stew. So a massive thank you to the Alabaster Llama over on the Reddit for sharing this. They shared the recipe and they shared all of the effects as well. So it looks like it doesn't actually apply to every single flower, but there is the information if you happen to need it. So way back in the beginning of the video, I said I would do some research for these 3 new flower types. As you can see, cornflower is down below us in the plains biome. These are quite common. I haven't figured out where the lily of the valley comes from, so if you know, please do let me know with a comment down below, and I will show you exactly where the wither rose comes from. Let's first of all summon in a wither. And then I'm going to grab a spawn egg here quickly as well. This thing is shooting straight away, actually. And can you see on the ground there is a wither rose? That's right. When this thing kills an entity, it drops a wither rose. Now, there are a whole bunch of technical features. In this video, I've only gone through the normal type of gameplay features. So there is even more stuff under the hood that's changed. And I may make another video following up on that tomorrow on this channel, but as of right now I just wanted to mention that redstone wire for the longest time has been a culprit for creating a lot of updates and causing lag, and this should introduce something that improves the redstone wire code and makes it a lot friendlier when it's powering on and off, which hopefully will lead to some performance improvements. And so it is time to wrap things up. If you have enjoyed the video, then leave a like. It makes a difference. It supports the channel. And as always, thank you for supporting the channel. It is appreciated. And I think we've just covered just about everything. Panda fell into the void. Oh dear. Yeah, pretty much covered everything listed on the website. So if there was something I missed, let me know in a comment down below. Anyway, that's going to be it from me. Thank you for watching. I'll see you soon with another one. Bye-bye.